Alright, in this video we're going to practice making photos brighter or darker as required. So here we have a picture of me in my younger days in looks like Paris. And we have the classic problem of that I am backlit. So the source of light is coming from behind me, which means that my face is actually really dark. So we would like to fix that if possible. So we already have looked at the kind of things that we should do, and so first of all let's select me here. Okay, I'm happy with that selection, so I'll go ahead and add the mask. We're going to add an adjustment layer here, the circle. As we did last time, we're just going to go for the curves. Okay, so I end up with the straight line, and what I want to do to make things brighter is on the right hand side here. I'm just gonna increase this a little here, and you can see that already I am brighter, but I am also losing a little bit of definition in terms of I can see some like kind of sparkly random color things. That's because there's just not enough information here to fully make it colorful. So if I keep on going, you can see that it's starting to get a little bit speckled, and so that means I'm losing information, so I don't want to go that far, and we'll just take it to maybe about there. And sometimes that's all you can really do. We can try and make the dark parts, so this is the light parts, we made light parts lighter, and then on the left here is the dark parts. We can make the dark parts lighter too by grabbing on the line over here and making another point. And yeah, maybe I could see that that is helping a little. Okay, but I don't want to take it too far, because as you can see, if I take it too far, I start to look like some kind of ghost or something, right? And so we'll take it back a little bit. Just sometimes it's not going to be perfect, just because you can do a lot in Photoshop, but you can't. It's not magic. It only can take what's there and enhance it. You can't like create new stuff. And anyway, so if we turn this layer off, we can see this is what was before, and we turn that layer on, and this is after. So it is a little better, but yeah, still not quite perfect. It was just too dark originally. Anyways, that's one thing. Okay, and we can try practice on another picture here. Okay, so I took this picture inside my storage room there, and I took a picture looking outside, and because I am in a dark place looking into a light place, the part out here that's really bright in full sunlight is really overexposed, and so we want to see if we can bring those colors down a little bit. Pretty happy with that selection. So what we're gonna do is go to my adjustments layer, and well, we could try levels this time instead of curves and see how that works for us. So with levels, again, we're gonna bring in, so most of the colors on the right side here, and there's almost nothing on the left side, so we'll bring in that left side a little bit, like so, until we find the part where we kind of like it. And let's bring the right side in a little bit too. And you can see bringing in the right side actually makes it too white. It makes everything whiter. So let's not do that. So I've brought the left little arrow to about the 1/3 mark, and it's kind of a judgment call where you stop, right? I can move the middle one too and see what that will do for me. All right. So you can kind of see where that's going. Let's try with the curves instead. So what I'm gonna do, I already did the selection, and you can see here this mask is the selection, right? You can see that one big square and one tiny little rectangle, and there's my big square and there's my tiny rectangle. I don't want to have to select that again, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go make a new adjustment layer. This time I said I wanted to do curves. Okay, so this is curves, right? And I can do my curves, but you can see it's curving, it's changing the entire picture. I don't want that. I only want that part. And you can see here there's no mask, right? So what I can do is I can take this mask from down here and drag it up there into the curves layer. And now when I'm in my curves layer, as I'm changing the curves, I'm only changing that part. But you can see that it's been deleted from the levels, right? And so if I want this mask, like this selection for both of these layers, what I need to do is hold down the Alt key. If I hold down the Alt key and drag it, that way you can see that both layers are now masked. Okay, so the Alt key, if you drag it without the Alt key, it just moves it. But if you drag it while holding down the Alt key, it will copy it. So my selection is now copied. So you don't have to select the same thing over and over again every time. Okay, so let's turn off levels and let's just work on curves here. And so I got my my straight line, and let's see what I can do. We want to make this thing darker. So that will be on the left side, and we want to make the darks darker here. And we want to make the light parts also a bit darker. Something like that. So what do we like more? Do we like the levels or curves? Well, this is a bit too exaggerated compared with the levels. Let's move it up a bit. Let's move the mid-tones up a bit too. Something like that. Okay, so curves, levels, right? So you can choose which one you like. There's actually another way that we can do this, and that's by just, what we're gonna do is, so I've turned off my curve and my levels, so it's just an original picture right now. I'm just gonna copy this original picture, so duplicate layer. We'll call this one multiply. Why am I calling it that? We'll see in a second. And so I want to, again, use the same selection. So I'm going to hold down Alt and then drag the mask. Oops, that's showing the mask itself. I want to hold down Alt, drag the mask down onto my layer here. And then, remember the blend modes that we used before? We used color last time. This time, we're just going to use multiply. And it does, so multiply is going to make, you know, if it's green originally, it'll make the greens greener, it'll make the blues bluer, it'll just make the colors more color. And so that's with just copying the same image, but using multiply in the blend mode. So we turn that off. So that's the multiply. This is with levels. That's with curves. So they all do something kind of similar, and you can play around and see which one works for you. Alright, so we've got a picture of me in the doorway here, and you can see that it is another backlit picture. So the foreground, the person, is a little too dark, and the background is a little too light. So let's see if we can fix that. Let's see if we can fix the person first. So we'll select him. I think the face is okay, and so we'll ignore that for now. And we'll just lighten up this by using curves, and we'll do a little bit lighter like so. But you can see the problem here. The pants are still a bit too dark, but this side is like too light now, right? So I don't think that's gonna work. So I think I'm just gonna select like part of it, maybe like the right side, and see how that goes. So I'll turn that off and make another selection. Okay, so you can see my selection here. So I've selected kind of the bottom half and right side of the sweater and also the pants. And so let's try making an adjustment layer there, and we'll brighten that part up. And so, yeah, it looks a little nicer here, but of course, it looks really obvious that the selection was right there, right? How do we fix that problem? We can fix that by actually clicking on the mask itself. Okay, so this is, if I click on the right side of this layer, that's going to be my my layer stuff, and that's my curve and stuff. But if I click on this, on the mask itself, I get this menu. So what I'm going to do is, there's this value called feather. Okay, that shows how fuzzy it's going to be. In fact, yeah, let's just bring that up pretty high. Well, that's maybe a little too high, but we can bring it to maybe there. Well, so we want it to be, like if we have it here, so right now I'm at 21, I can still see this line. I don't want to see that. So I want to bring it just where that line starts to disappear. And I think I'm just about there. So I'm at about 70 or so, and that line has disappeared. But you can see it still has lightened up that side. If I turn it off, you can see it is significantly, like it has made a difference, right? Yeah, so that is, and you can see in the mask, maybe you can't see. If you press Alt and click on the mask, you can actually see it. So before, like the edges were sharp, and now they've become fuzzy. So that's why it's only applying them in a very fuzzy way. So that's, yeah, that's that. That is a little better, and then you can change the background there as, I mean, it's very similar to what we did before, so I won't go through it here, but you can do it just for practice. And yeah, so that is, that's some practice on how to make, pictures look a little better. So that's all for this video, and we'll see you in the next one.